Hello, everybody. This is a week summary. So it's just a basic, what did we do last week, and giving you some feedback. First of all, the discussion board was off the hook. That was great. You guys really did some outstanding discussions. I've added the, I didn't want to put this out until this week, but I did add the Professor Messer 10007 network videos. And this is a nice little tool for when you're working on your objectives and things like that. Or if you get to some content that you just don't understand, he usually does about 6 or 7 minute videos, which I prefer. I don't ever like doing anything long. And it basically takes you to here. You scroll down, and then every single objective is listed in the same way that we had them listed before, and our networking concepts, and they're all in the order of the objectives. And if you look at the front page of your, well, the cover of your textbook, the inside maps all of these to the objectives to your chapters. But bottom line is, if you're wondering about routing and switching or the OSI model, it's right there. You know, you see anything you look at, and then it's done in domains. So remember, the second one was infrastructure, third one was network operations, fourth one was network security, and the last one, network troubleshooting and tools. Good resource, something to think about. The next thing I want to emphasize is that this week we did our personal bios. Those went great. Let's look at the chapter quizzes. You had some questions, and they were legit. So let's take a look. And this doesn't identify anybody. Now, first of all, don't ever take a test and leave something blank, because you're going to get dinged for it. That's what happened down here. So, and even when you take certification exams, always answer something. It's better than having a zero. You always have a chance. So let's look at the questions really quick to give you the answers. I can't publish them until after everybody's had a chance at them. So that's why I don't give you the right answers until then. But the first one here is, which of the following protocols is used by a client to send an email message? Well, that's SMTP, and many of you put HTTP, but that's for web browsers. I did this better the first time, sorry. The second question is, a client-server network is the simplest network model. Well, peer-to-peer is the simplest network model, so this would be a false statement. These no answers are going to come up, and I've never had anybody do this before, but it is what it is. So 57% of you got it right. And the next one, the backbone is the central conduit that connects the segments of the network. And if you think about it, this is just totally made up. It's not a PAN. A PAN is a personal area network, and that would be like with Bluetooth and stuff like that. It's not the BIOS. So you can eliminate answers also to get to the answer, but the backbone is the answer. And several of you did well on that. A network that is larger than a LAN and connects the clients and servers from multiple buildings is known as a MAN. And a good example of that is the Capitol building in Sacramento, because it has the two judicial houses on both sides of it. So you've got three big buildings. You've got the Capitol and the two houses on the side. And that's a MAN. It's a metropolitan area network. Now, if we looked at this, it's definitely not a WAN. A WAN is a wide area network, and that's the internet, things like that. That's huge. That goes far beyond a few multiple buildings that are in the same area. So that's what that is. SCAN, we never talked about. You guys didn't pick that. And then PAN. Okay, so basically it's a metropolitan area network. And if you really looked at these, WAN would not have been the option. In fact, WAN is the biggest, the internet is the largest WAN possible. And then 6 is, when Windows servers controls the network access to a group of computers, this is a logical group which is called which of the following? And the answer should have been domain. And most of you got that one right. Now we're going to, 6 out of 7 was the other question. Oh, no, that's attempts. Okay, so that's the first quiz. Now let's look at the next one. I hope this helps. I just can't put them available to I just wanted to get you used to taking quizzes and giving you some clues, and this is important. It's an important process. So let's look at the second one. And this was the one I fixed with the application layer. And when I went back in, shouldn't record these at night. When I went back in and discovered what happened, I made it correct everything. So your grades should be correct if you chose the application layer, and you all appeared to do so. Unfortunately, this person's kind of killing us on the percentages. The name of the group of bits as it moves from one layer of the OSI to the next is which of the following, and that should have been a protocol data unit. It's discussed in your book, and so many of you are used to things like packets and segments and things like this, but protocol data units associate with the layers, and the first couple of sessions, and then eventually you get to layer 3 where it's a packet, you get to layer 2 where it's a frame, and you'll get to layer 1 where it's bits. But these are all things that you'll learn about, but that PDU is an important response. And I'll say that this one actually leads us into this one. Protocols in the blank layer accept data from the session layer and manage end-to-end delivery of data. Now, one thing about the OSI model is that each layer, let's say the session layer, only communicates with the layer above it and below it. So it can't be application layer because it can't get all the way up there. It can't be data link. Well, nobody picked that one. Network layer, no, because that's layer 3. And the session layer is layer 5. So you'd have all people seam, and then the transport layer, and that's before the routing layer. So the transport layer is correct. And the reason you know that is the transport layer accepts data from the session layer. So that means it's right below it, and it manages the end-to-end delivery of the data. All people seem to, and that's why it's below it. Okay. The IP protocol operates at the transport layer. That's false. It actually operates at layer 3, the network layer. And one thing about transport layer, just maybe I'll mention it in this one. Yeah, I'm just going to mention it really quick. One thing you can pick up on about the transport layers, at one point, that's where we're going to do all our ports. So it's a nice little thing to remember. And then the least intelligent switches operate at what level of the OSI? And a clue is routers are always at layer 3. And let's say most of the time. There are some specifics where it can vary with smart switches and things like that, but effectively, when you think of routers, you should think of layer 3. When you think of switches, you should think of layer 2. And if you think about the media, you should think of layer 3. And those particular PDUs, again, would have been at the router level, it's a packet. The data link layer is a frame, and then the bits. So it should have been the data link layer because that's where the switches operate. And so right there, switches is mentioned. Well, I hope this was helpful.